Thanks everyone for joining. This is part 2 of the DDI scanner that I have been building. A lot of folks already know me, but I'll give a quick intro. So I'm a software engineer who's been thrown in the investing world knowing nothing when I started my investing journey. Since then, it's been almost 8 years. I've been learning, improvising, making mistakes, again improving from there. And I've built a foundation using technical analysis. So I've tried different things, but TA is something that has really worked for me because being an engineer, we want to rely on data, and data is the ultimate truth. So that's where I'm digressing towards and improvising and learning every single day. So, what was the real motivation behind the scanner? So, sometime in May, I went on a cruise, and the chart that we look here is Intel. And as we can see from the chart, the pattern that is being formed is cup and handle pattern. If you are new to technical analysis, this might be like any absurd thing. But if you go to any stock in the stock market, if it is going to break out, most of the times it forms some kind of pattern because whatever is on the chart is eventually driven by greed, emotions, and humans selling and buying over decades. So the chart that we look here is Intel, and I knew this setup. This is a classic cup and handle pattern. And what happened was when it broke out right here, I was traveling and I was not monitoring the setup. And once it started to explode, it ran from around 60 and hit around 130 or 140 in matter of a month. And that got me thinking, there will be occasions where I'll be traveling. There will be occasions where I'll not have time to look at the chart each and every time. This was Intel. It happened with Gold. It happened with Microsoft. It happened with Amazon. So what can I do to improve the process, at least for me? Because now I know what is working for me, but I don't have the time to look at it every single day. So that was the whole motivation behind the scanner, was to automate the workflow as much as we can. And that's what software engineers do. Also, the real problem, I'm pretty sure a lot of us are experiencing it today. So the screenshots that I have here, they are from TradingView. I bought premium subscriptions. I have different watch lists where I keep adding stocks, keep removing stocks, keep moving stocks. On the right side, I have Think and Swim where I set custom alerts. I wrote some scripts. But again, what was happening is multiple tools, and it was difficult to keep up with the watch list. And if something happened, I was not able to get alerted. I didn't have a process that I wanted to, that I can rely on. So this was one of the biggest problems that I faced, even with premium subscriptions. So that was the birth of DDI Scanner. And the main pillar of the scanner is I want to build something that runs on the whole US market every single day after the market close. I have my specific conditions that I wanted to run on. And I was mindful that I don't want to make the scanner complicated because the more signals you add to it, the more complex it gets. And then you'll have more problems making decisions. So what I did is I broke the scanner into 3 states. This is as of today. The first one is the breakout scanner. So let me give you an example. If a stock is falling today in the market, we don't know where the bottom is. Again, for sure, we can look at different support zones and everything. But if the sentiment of that sector or the stock is not good, it is just going to fall. If we look at Salesforce, what happened? The company is strong, but since the sentiment with AI and SaaS companies was bad, it went all the way to 150. And I was observing that stock right from 350. If we look at Hims and Hers, it started crashing from 70, it stopped at $15. So one thing is always said is you should never try to catch a falling knife. If something is falling, you should not try to optimize your entries because you don't know where the bottom is. So that is the goal of Breakout Scanner. What it does is it waits patiently for things to fall. And after it has reached the bottom, it will start reversing back. And once it starts reversing back, it will break out of some structure. And when it tries to break out of something, that means that the bottom is in and it is building strength on the upside. The downside here is you'll be missing like 10% of the bottom move, which is acceptable in my opinion, because you don't want to get caught while it is falling. The second one is reversal scanner. Now, when you know a good stock like Microsoft is falling, you don't want to miss that bottom 10% because big companies, they mostly recover in the 10% move. So reversal scanner is focusing on setups which are falling, but it doesn't give you signal right away. It waits for certain reversal conditions. Again, there are risks in this reversal scanner mode, but if you like a company longer term and you see those signals appearing, you can rely and take a shot. And the third one is custom search and watch list. So what if the stock did not pop up in breakout and reversal? You can go and directly search that stock in the setup, and it will give you the exact chart that I want to look at. So now I don't have to go to TradingView. I can just go and search for it, and I'll get all the details I want with just a click. So this is a very high level overview. When we talk about the breakout scanner, the core goal, as we can see here the stock is falling and falling, but once it broke out of some structure which the scanner identifies, it had a massive move. Again, I'm okay not catching all this bottom because no one knows where the bottom is. Similarly, on the right side, there are specific patterns that we know in technical analysis that really work. And here it kept falling, but I didn't know the bottom. But here, when it broke out, Intel did, I want to know that something is happening. Will I take the trade? That is completely up to me. But at least I want to be notified. So Breakout Scanner was built on the assumption that there are specific patterns, and if we are aware of these patterns are happening, we'll be in a better position to take a call. The algorithm, again, the way I built the algorithm is I went back and looked at least hundreds of examples. I documented that in a Google Doc. I looked what are the common things, what are the max drawdowns, and I extracted key rules that I wanted to be there in my algorithm. So right now, I have made around 550 iterations. As I mentioned, I'm working each and every day on the scanner because there are false positives, which I want to stay away from. So I have made around 550 iterations and I'm still working on it today. Right now in the background, AI is already doing some tasks that I have given it. The core philosophy is we define rules, we build and we iterate. So as we know, stock market moves on many external factors. So there won't be anything that is 100% there, but we want more probability on our end if we are going to take any action in the market. So these are the three states. After this, we are going to look at the demo. So these are the three states on which I think about a setup. So the first state is setting up. Now, let's say something is dropping, dropping, dropping. Once it starts reversing, we want to know about that particular stock a little bit ahead of time. We don't want to know when it has broken out. So here what it does is it tries to plot this white line. So this white line is acting like a resistance. And here, when the stock is not even closer to the line, it will start filling the setting up bucket. Then we have the broken out bucket. Once a stock is a part of the setting up bucket, it eventually graduates and moves to broken out. Broken out's definition is pretty simple. Something is coming out of the white line. So if you look previously, it was getting rejected many times. Algos were selling and a lot of things were happening. But when it breaks out, if it is happening with volume, that gives me a little bit more confidence. So the analogy is pretty simple. If you keep hammering on a door and a single person is trying to break it, the door won't break. But if 10 people try to break it, the door will break and it will be broken because there were more people. That is the analogy with volume. So here when it breaks out, we also look what the volume is at the same time. And the third state is broken and confirmed. So confirmation plays a key role here. We don't want false positives. We don't want fake outs in the market. So here when it breaks out, I have specific conditions which it looks out for. And then the setup eventually graduates into broken plus confirm bucket. So since then, I have taken many setups and I have been sharing the setups on Instagram as and when I find it. So these were some of the setups that I already took. Don't go pretty heavy. Position management is very important. But all these stocks were unknown to me. I never heard about KKR. Obviously, I do some research before taking a trade. But when this setup was breaking out, I got notified. Something is happening with this one. You can look at different. Zscaler was a very recent one. It got flagged in my scanner that it is breaking out of this zone. And since then, it exactly reached the target. Not every setup will reach the target, but so far it's working for me. And again, there are failure cases. For example, BIDU was something that broke out. I think the chart is not updated here, but it eventually broke out of this zone and now it retraced and it went back down. So this is going to happen. And when it happens, you want to make sure if you're taking 10 trades, you find more winners than losers, and that's what is the game of trading. Same with Chipotle, it broke out, but it didn't continue higher. It kept chopping on the side. And Tesla is very interesting. Right now, if you had Tesla at this point, my scanner flagged that Tesla is setting up for a breakout. But now it becomes a crucial zone to watch, because if it doesn't cross this line, it is going to get rejected. So you can use the scanner in two different ways, where you can find resistance zone and when it gets rejected, what to do. So enough of theory. I'll quickly pull up my tool and we can play around and see what we find. So there are different tabs. I think I'll start with the breakout tab to start with, and then I'll explain how the tool works for me and how I am analyzing different things. So if you look on the left, I run it on two different time frames. It is daily and weekly. So right now, if you can see for daily time frame, there are 798 tickers overall that has qualified for the breakout bucket, and out of 798, 647 are in the setting up bucket. So here, if we can see, I see the white line here, and I see the stock is trying to come here. Same for all the stocks that I have. So what I do is, on daily basis or weekly basis, whenever I get time, I come to the scanner and try to see what is going on. So here, if you look at the setup, so this is the classic cup and probably the handle pattern, but it is not executed. It's getting rejected at that point. So these charts now enter my radar. I can go and I can do market cap high to low. So here I can see Visa, MasterCard. So Home Depot is something that has been interesting, and I've been talking about this since a while. One sec. So here it is getting rejected of this zone, and right now it's sitting right at 200 EMA. Will I take action on this one? I probably will not, because I want to see some strength and breakout from this zone. So likewise, you can go and look, like this is Alibaba, and here, if we'll try to see the pattern, here we can see it's like a cup and handle pattern, and it's getting rejected right at 200 EMA. So what happens once it really crosses this zone? We can compute the target and see what happens. But for it to break out, we need some strong volume, and that is the whole goal of the scanner. And likewise, I can keep going on. Like if any stock in the market is about to reverse or break out, it comes to me now. So here, this is McDonald's. It got rejected, got rejected, got rejected. And this is the one I'm watching pretty close. This is a really good company, and I don't want to enter trying to find the bottom. I want to enter on strength. So this is my scanning process. So this was the setting up bucket. Now, if we move to broken, here we can see what setups have broken out and what is going on. So here, if you look at Walmart, Walmart has broken out right here. But if we can see, it has earnings tomorrow. So this makes me a little cautious on whether to take this setup or not, because earnings can sway it in either directions. Similarly, ExxonMobil, it again broke out. Costco is little interesting. If you look, it's broken out, but I think it's sitting at 200 EMA, and it will be driven by Walmart earnings. So I'm staying a little away from these setups. But likewise, you can look at any setup you want. So right here, Disney, it is breaking out. So here is the thing, right? Now I've added all the rules, all the conditions that I want for any stock on the technical side. I still need a layer of fundamentals, which again is future work for the scanner, which I'm going to integrate. So all the good companies come to me right away, and that decision making goes as well. So this is the second bucket, and the third one is broken and confirmed. And right now, I think every one of us know that Amazon had a really good move. Amazon was getting capped right at this zone. It capped up. It went a little higher. It's coming back and it's holding, and it might go up. If you look at NVIDIA, it bounced right from this zone, which is the 200 EMA. This setup would have come to me in the reversal part as well. I'll come to it. But right now it broke from this line and it just kept going higher. So the goal of this scanner, I think you'll have clear idea on what I'm trying to do here is not get to the bottom, but try to see if the setup that I want and is that particular stock forming it. So I'll take a pause for now before moving to the second part of the scanner, which is the reversal one. For any questions. Before we move to questions, this is something that I added lately, and this is just to see how accurate the scanner is right now. And if I look at it, this is just on the last 7-day basis. Once the setup has entered the broken and confirmed zone, 94% of the setups move at least 10% from that zone. This is what the data is telling me right now. And if I look at the target reached, here are all the setups that you'll see that after breaking out, it has continued to go higher. It has Intuit and like lot of different stocks. So yeah, just doing some validation as well and removing all the failures that I see in this bucket, which is it broke out, but it came back. Do we have any questions before I move ahead? Sounds good. I'll proceed. And one more use case that I'm actively looking at is a lot of people do options here. And I'm a big fan of selling put options. Now, just imagine if your setups are showing probability to move higher, and if you don't have cash, you can still start selling put options, being a little more conservative, and you'll know your strike price using these tool as well. So it removes a lot of decision making. Where if your goal is to not being assigned, it will really help you. So I'll move to the presentation. So this is the reversal part. So here the goal is, let's say the setup is not coming to me in the breakout bucket. And if that stock is continue, either it is moving higher, like there's no ceiling for it, or it is moving lower. So if it is moving higher, we want to know about it. So there are certain rules, certain conditions as well. So the left chart we have is Google. And on Google, if you look right here at the 400 zone, it formed a topping tail with volume and in the overextended zone. So it flagged that Google has formed something. Please take a look. If you want to take some action, take it. It's okay. But after this thing was formed, the stock collapsed around like at least 20% from that level. So if I'm someone who don't short, but if I want to buy Google, for sure I wouldn't buy this zone. On the right side, here we know that ECN is Accenture, and here it created a signal right at the bottom that hey, something might be bottoming out. If you don't want to wait for a breakout, so if you look, the breakout is flagged somewhere right here. So if I don't want to wait for this spot, and if I really believe in this company, I can initiate a position because the risk reward, the probability is a little bit in my favor. So this is the reversal scanner, and this is part two. For this, I think I recently shared this as well. When SanDisk and NBIS they crashed crazily into the semis sell-off, I think early end of July, dropped from 2,300 all the way to $1,000, and everyone was scared. I also didn't know like what to do, but my scanner flagged that SanDisk is coming in a good level, which is 200 EMA, and I was aware of it. NBIS did the same. It came back at the 200 EMA level, and since then it has almost gained 80 to 90%. So here, this scanner, what it does is, if a stock is way stretched from the 200 EMA on the upside, it will try tracking it, and once it comes back to our level, it will flag. Like this stock has collapsed from 50% higher from 200 EMA, and it is coming back. And you can think of it as bouncing a ball. So if you are bouncing a ball from 10th floor on the ground floor, the bigger the drop, the higher the jump. So that is the exact correlation in technical analysis, assuming the demand is still there and fundamentals are intact. So this was the second component of reversal scanner. So again, moving back to the demo. So if I go to the reversal scanner, as we discussed, we have bottoming tail. Here it tries to find all the stocks that are forming bottoming tails today. So this scanner runs every day after market close, and it gives me alerts on what is happening on any stock. And here I know for RTO, the bottoming tail was formed right here. I don't see for this one. I think this might be a false positive. But yeah, for this one, it's right here. If I go to topping tails, like another correlation is if you see more topping tails, it means that the market is stretching to the upside and things are topping out. And here, if you look, it was formed right here, it collapsed, formed right here, it collapsed. And likewise, you'll have a lot of setups that you were yourself not aware about in the first place. So if I look at some results, there were some really good ones. If I look at, let's say, topping tail. So this is HPE. I'm not sure if a lot of you folks are scanning it. So it formed the topping tail right at this point, and it reversed back. And this happened same with Google as well, as I discussed. It formed exactly at this point, it reversed. It happened with SpaceX and many other stocks. So before, I was not aware of any setup. what is happening with one. I had like 10, 15 stocks which I used to watch, but now I get everything right in front of me and I don't have to go and scan and do anything. Next one is the 200 EMA support. And this is the exact one that I was talking about, where I found the setup of Tesla. So I'll show the setup in a moment. But here the goal is, if the stock is stretched to the upside and if it is falling crazily, it will come to the EMA and it will alert me that the stock has dropped and it is coming to a support level. If you really like it, this might be the time to act on it. Or maybe start DCing in, and you'll get like different setups. So this was the reversal scanner. The next one, which is my favorite, is searching anything. So I don't have time to look at the scanner. I only care about specific stocks. So if I come and I search for Tesla, whatever is running in my algorithm, in the breakout scanner, in the reversal scanner, it combines everything for me and it gives me a view of daily and weekly time frame of what is going on with Tesla. So if I quickly analyze this one, on the weekly side, Tesla had a topping tail, which was the topping signal. And after that, it nearly collapsed from 450. It went all the way to 200. But if you look, what level did it go to? It went exactly to the EMA, which was the 200 EMA. And now recently Tesla has collapsed as well. And it exactly came to the EMA zone like here. And it is again reversing. Like the EMA was around $300 and right now it's trading at 350. So this has made scanning a lot easier for me. I can go and I can do it for any stock I want, as long as it is in the US or NYSE. So for Meta, I can look like what is happening on the daily time frame, what is happening on weekly, what is my buy zone, how can I find different supports. It gives me details on conditions that I have given it. So this is quick scan. And the last one is Watchlist. So if I'm looking at any setup, like I'm looking at any setup in the broken bucket, and if I like this setup, I can directly add it to my watch list. Let me go here. Yeah, if I do a quick plus button, it directly adds to my watch list. So I don't have to scan. And what I've done with the scanner is it runs on my watch list every day and it alerts me if something is happening. So again, I'm reducing the friction of looking at the scanner every time versus getting alerted if something is going on. So right now, McDonald's is something I'm tracking. I think for SoFi, I recently shared it on Instagram that this is the classic inverse head and shoulders pattern. It is getting rejected right here. And yeah, it just broke out. And I have like different setups that I can look at the custom watchlist bucket. Take a pause for any questions before we move with the presentation.
Yeah, I think this is super interesting. Thanks for sharing all this. I'm curious about like the scanner is looking for this insights and this charts. Does it also like back test on the same stock? Like for example, NVIDIA, if you are seeing like pattern, does it go back and see like happened in the past or something similar in the industry? Just curious.
Got it. So I put my algorithm in the scanner. I used to do it in TradingView. Like you have Pine scripts, right? So you can write a script to see like, hey, how many times did topping tails work or how many times this signal worked. So I did that with TradingView a lot. I did at least for 4 years. And after that, whatever I have built over there, I ported it here. So my tool, what it does is it has a monitor tab and here it has a daily scan scheduled that after the market close, it will run and it goes through the exact rules that I have given it. And if something changes, it is going to have logs like this has moved to the confirm bucket. This is auto removed because it has made a successful 10% move. So no, it doesn't go and back test on the stock. But if you have looked a little bit into technical analysis, will give you a little bit more probability that this is the pattern that is formed. And based on the history, this is the likelihood. So there still needs to be some understanding on what technical analysis is and what the patterns are. Does it answer your question?
Sure. Yeah. It wasn't like it was just a random question. I wasn't even sure whether
Okay.
it's required or not. But yeah, thanks for the answer.
So one thing, right? Like I put anything in the scanner and I build anything, I have iterated over it at least for 4 to 5 years. I've been using that signals manually to make my decisions. Now I'm just automating it. So whenever I am away, I want to be aware of it. So that is like the whole goal of the scanner. Some other question? Yes. Oh, good point. When I was building the scanner, I built in a way that if someday I open access, open up for access, you can share the setups directly with anyone. That's why I had added all the links on the cards. Back to something more interesting. Now I have my watch list, I have my scanner, and I have all the details. But what if I am a little bit away from my desk or I don't have anything? So that's why I've created Discord alerts, which is bucketized based on what is happening. So if I'm only interested, let's say, to find bottoming tails or like stocks are bottoming out, so every alert is segregated into its own bucket. So here, if you look at weekly confirmed, so all these setups are breaking out of something and it has confirmed based on the rules I have defined. So I can directly keep track of like alerts open in Discord to get these insights. So this is how I'm managing the alerting side. It's there on the custom watch list. I get emails, but I also get Discord updates. Right now, since it runs on every stock, it's a little bit of noise because I don't care of many stocks. So I'm going to add some fundamental filters over there. Any other questions before we move to the presentation? Dharmek, sorry, Vaibhav.
Hey Harsh, this was really wonderful. One quick thing, how are you pulling the live data? Are you making use of an open source MCP server?
No. So I'm paying for it. When I started with Yahoo Finance. I was trying to keep it free. Like, didn't want to pay money, right? Now I'm using different APIs where I have to pay for data. Is there? I pay for the hosting cost as well. The scanner needs it needs a lot of computation, right, in the backend. So I pay for cloud hosting, data, and a couple of other things. And one more thing, like the scanner is also running on Indian data, something I recently started. And like, think about it, the algorithm is the same. You just have to pay for the data source. And once you get the right data, you clean it up in your format you want and it runs. Did it answer your question as well?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
Good. Yeah. Moving on, I think I already spent 500 hours just thinking about it. It's not counting all the AI's, all the work that AI did. It's just my personal hours that I've put in the scanner because I wanted to be usable, and that has reduced my scan time by at least like 10 to 15 hours per week, which I was doing, and I was missing a lot of things. Now, me finding setups, taking trades have like significantly. This is the scanner runs daily and weekly. After market close for daily updates and weekly on Fridays. Future roadmap, something that I want to integrate, fundamental integration. Right now, it runs on everything and it gets a lot of noise. Leaks out, but if the stock is fundamentally not strong, there is no point of taking that trade. So I'm going to add a lot of fundamental screening things so that the stocks are a little reliable. To add win rates, as I showed, like what's happening with the scanner, and I'm going to integrate AI generated reports where if you want to see like all the setups that are breaking out, which are high confidence, I would directly get it on a click. Access to the scanner, started building it. It was for myself. I wanted to get better. I wanted to get more insights and more box to look into. So right now the tool is still in development, as I showed. Still iterating on it, and there is no end to this, right? So today, like a couple of days back, I was looking at many stocks and I found a pattern, I extracted it and I integrated it in my scanner. So it's going to be an iterative development, but right now at least I'm comfortable. It's at a stage where it is usable, it is reliable. One major thing is decision making is still at the person looking at the scanner. I don't want to be in a place where I start recommending things and that goes wrong. So you need some understanding of what is happening. Again, if you looked at the scanner, it's pretty intuitive. It's not at all complex. You see the line, you see something is breaking out. You still need to be a little bit aware of what technical analysis is. And if you really believe in that, I think the scanner is a game changer. The access to the scanner, I'm not going to keep it free for sure because I'm using it myself. I actively invest in it and I invest a lot of time. At the same time, I'm not even sure if I'm going to open up access, at least not this month, but sometime in September, I might. So if you are interested to get access to the scanner, you can go at datadriveninvesting.io/scanner. You can sign up for waitlist there. If I get enough traction, I'll start gatekeeping it. Like now I have gate capped it with a Google login. So I'm iterating because it adds a little bit of overhead maintenance if users are going to access it as well. But in the leeway, what I did recently is since I have access to a lot of setups that come to me, I started a community. Again, this is not for earning a lot of money or doesn't even make a difference. But if I'm getting some setups, I want to share it out. Like I've been writing blogs, but blogs reached only specific folks. First goal is to share the setup and explain what is happening. What to do with that, it's completely your lookout. So that is the whole goal with Discord, where I keep all the Max 7 stocks. I share all the levels for them every week. I shared all the breakout stocks that I see. Like not, I curate everything based on my research, and then I share a curated list to the Discord and reversals as well. So I can quickly show on what that is looking today. I think a lot of people are liking it, but this is a quick glimpse on the Discord. So here, if we look at it, I have like channels for different stocks where I share what I'm looking at Amazon, and this is updated every week. Likewise, I have for every stock here. Again, TA is not something that will absolutely work, but if you looked at Amazon, I explicitly called out that this was the resistance zone. I didn't know if it is going to get rejected. Since then, it pulled back around like at least 10%. So it gives you some data point rather than hitting in the dark. If you look at breakout setups, here I share all the setups that I feel are strong enough. So this one was like Melly, which is a very strong company, but it is getting rejected at this zone. But once it crosses that one, it is going to have a big move. So I try to give my game plan, but again, it's up to you to take the trade. So you'll see like buy, sell things that I share right here. The whole goal of this community is I want each and every one to build a little bit of conviction before executing and not blame anyone. So if you look at this setup and if you knew this company is really good and you have been waiting to enter, it might be a good time when it breaks out. Similarly, if I go all the way back, yeah, share a lot of setups. So the goal is not to take each and every one, but if you believe in some company and the setup is there for you, you can go and execute. And at the same time, it's more of educational as well, where I share educational insights which I find on the technical side. I missed. I also share all the setups that I missed. Like setup that I missed was Pfizer because I was busy with my scanner, and as soon as it broke out from the zone, it just moved higher. So these are some learnings that I also try to take from the community, and it makes my process a little more better because I want to make sure I don't miss on these opportunities. And you can ask me questions if something is happening, like and share my take on it. But again, this is not anything that I'm going to share as a buy and sell. It's more for learning. If you want to invest and learn and grow, I think this is a good place to be. And for me, I enjoy sharing setups. And if you find something you like, you are also going to benefit from it. So do take a look at this. I think it's pretty invaluable. Learning resources. I'll quickly open my website. I think a lot of people might have looked at it. Here, I share a lot of setups, which are free as well. So you can think of it as premium Discord is something where I share a lot of setups, which I see on my website. I'm not pretty active. It is updated every week. But I do share a lot of setups as well. So if I look at all the charts that I share here you look at Microsoft, and the website is pretty much learning oriented. So if you click on this, you can see this was the resistance zone and this was the minor one. And if you want to understand what the heck these lines are, you can go and click here. It will directly open the blog that I have written on the specific support and resistance and what it is. So you can go and read. And if you understand what is happening, you'll be in a better place to execute and take the trade. So coming back to the website. So this was the chart section. Blogs, it is in 3 different buckets. Here I have concepts. So if you want to understand, like I had bought Microsoft Leaps, which increased like I think almost 100%, but I shared why I took it and what was my thought process. And likewise, I have 100 blogs as of now. So you can go and learn it. And if you are very new to technical analysis and you want to get started in the blogs, so this is a module-based reading that you can go and take a look at. Someone who doesn't want to read, they can directly go to my course, which I have created again, which is very much practical, very much on automation as well. So you can go and take a look at the course. There are a couple of free preview videos that I have added. You can see like how I teach and what's going on there. Coming back, yeah, I think that's it. That was my scanner and all the efforts that I have put in. It's been almost a year since I started writing blogs. And I've learned a lot because if people ask questions, if I'm presenting something, it makes me think twice before sharing something, and it makes my process better. So again, so much for joining today. It was really great.